Greetings and welcome back, Dapplings, to this, the update video for my Reassembly 8000p tournament. A few days late, I do apologise for that, but things took a little bit longer than I expected to get back in order after getting back from my vacation. I hope you can understand and forgive me. Now, I have received numerous entries for this tournament, many more than I expected, to be perfectly honest, and as a result, not everyone is going to get into this tournament. I'm just going to come out with that right at the beginning. I do apologize for that. Some because they sent me ships in a format that I wasn't expecting. That is, they just supplied entire fleets rather than a specific ship. Those who sent individual ships, but like a couple of them, I've just picked one at random. In many cases, people didn't specify which one they wanted, so I just picked one. If you sent me multiple emails because you made an adjustment to your ship and wanted that used instead, I have gone with the latest submission in those cases. But in total, I have been sent 54 ships. Now, there's a bit of a problem with that number, unfortunately. It's too few for eight groups of 8, and it's too many for 7 groups of 7. Honestly, though, I wouldn't really want 8 groups of 8 because the individual group battles, because we'll be using a pool, would be staggeringly long. I believe with 8 members in a pool, that would be 28 battles. Now, if you imagine that each one took 2 minutes to go through, which is a reasonable average, I suppose, then you'd be looking at almost an hour per episode for the group battles. Even with 7 groups of 7, it's still 21, so you're looking at about 40 minutes, but that's a little bit more reasonable. Some may go on a little bit longer, some may go on a little bit less. It depends on how I'll be cutting the videos. But we're going to be going with 7 groups of 7, so that in total means 49 ships. The tournament will be exactly the same as the previous one. That is, we'll have 7 groups of 7, and the winners from each of those groups will go into a final battle, so that'll be an 8th battle with the 7 group winners to crown the ultimate winner of the tournament. And I think that'll remove randomness as much as possible from which ships any particular entrant is going to have to face, which was the problem with the brackets. Now, as promised, I have put all of these ships into a Dropbox file, into a zip file, and I'm making this available for a week, so a week from today, for anyone who's interested to download and have a look at these ships. You can just have a peek yourself if you're curious to see what kind of ships yours is going to be fighting against. I have not decided where any ship is going to appear in the groupings, so there's no guarantee that you'll be facing a certain ship or not facing a certain ship. So, you know, there's limited usefulness in terms of looking at it, and I'm not going to be accepting any adjustments to ships from this point onwards. Now, I have included all 54 ships because I've not randomly picked which ones are going to be included. So there's not a guarantee that your ship, even if it is amongst the 54, will appear in the tournament. I am sorry if that is the case, but what I'm thinking of doing with that is any ships that don't make it into this tournament because there's just too many will get included in the next tournament I do, whether for another 8000p tournament or a different tournament. I'll just keep an eye out on the people who submitted the ships, and those who don't make it into this one because there's just not enough room will automatically go into the next tournament that I host, and hopefully that'll help to ease the sting a little bit. But the primary reason of supplying these ships in this format for everyone to have a look at is for you to self-police to a degree. There are many people who are much more learned in the ways of reassembly than I, and also those who have much more time than I do, to have a look at all of these entrants and see if there are any that break the rules. The primary rule being that it has to be a ship made from a single faction, so no multi-faction ships. Additionally, no hidden faction ships. The ships have to come from a playable faction, so that means that the Flies faction with their crazy teleporting ability completely off the cards. Even if it's made entirely from that faction, doesn't matter, that faction is not allowed. And generally that is the only restriction we're putting here. Aesthetically speaking, I would like to see ships that aren't just giant guns, but I'm not making that a rule in this tournament. So There's no disqualifications happening because you've made a giant cannon. I will consider it poor form, personally, but they will be allowed in this tournament. There are plenty of ships that can deal with them, especially in the 8000p range, but we'll have to see how that goes. If this does continue to be a problem, then that will just flatly be banned in future tournaments that I host. But that is it for this update. So in a week's time from today, so that will be on the 14th of July, the tournament will commence. But that is it from me. I hope you're looking forward to the tournament, as I am. But until then, and as always, do take care.